The movie starts in 1974 in Northern Ireland, introducing a mysterious scene where two criminals enter a local bar, oblivious to the impending danger orchestrated by the cunning wrongdoer, Darren. Alongside her brother Curtis and associates Harry and Ron, they execute a cunning plan involving a carefully placed bomb. A pivotal moment occurs when Darren spots unsuspecting school kids near the hazardous site and urgently warns them to escape. Unfortunately, the bomb detonates, claiming the lives of both the gangsters and the innocent children. In haste, Darren, Curtis, Ron, and Harry hastily escape in their getaway car, setting the stage for the unfolding narrative. The focus then shifts to Murphy, an elderly man proficient with a shotgun, engaged in a friendly competition with Vincent, the local law enforcement officer. Following his victory, they discuss the escalating crime in their vicinity. Later that evening, Murphy enters a bustling bar, clutching a photo with a marked circle around a familiar face, the renowned singer, Bart, introduced by the bar's announcer. While Bart captivates the audience with his singing, it becomes evident that Murphy's presence is motivated by more than just enjoying a few drinks. Driving to a secluded location, Murphy reveals that Bart is confined in the trunk of his car. Armed with his shotgun, Murphy instructs Bart to walk to a hillside and commence digging. The grim reality unfolds as Bart recognizes he's in a graveyard containing Murphy's previous targets. During their final conversation, Bart shares his challenging history but claims to have moved beyond it. Reflecting on Bart's narrative, Murphy makes a somber decision, abruptly ending Bart's life and burying him in an unofficial graveyard, marked by an eerie tree. The revelation is startling. Murphy is an unyielding hitman driven by financial motives. He proceeds to his manager Josie's residence, where she warmly greets him. Not only does she inquire about his preferred meal, but she also pledges to prepare it for him. The atmosphere shifts as Kevin, a recent addition to the team, displays impatience by grabbing bread from Josie's basket, prompting Murphy to comment on the young man's impulsiveness. During a discussion with Robert, Murphy discloses that he has completed the assigned task and observes Kevin driving away. Seizing the opportunity, he proposes that all future assignments be entrusted to the younger colleague. Murphy, unveiling the grief he has carried since his wife's passing, expresses a desire to abandon his criminal life and embark on a fresh start. He shares his late wife's aspiration for him to become a better person, one who assists and cares for others. This revelation surprises Robert, who inquires about Murphy's future plans. Unexpectedly, Murphy reveals his goal: to become a farmer and cultivate a garden. Accepting Murphy's decision, Robert provides payment for his last job and bids him farewell. The subsequent day marks the beginning of Murphy's new life in farming as he prepares his land and purchases various seeds from the town. He begins forming connections, such as sharing a meal with his friendly neighbor Rita, where they discuss his late wife and reminisce about shared memories. While strolling in the neighborhood, Murphy encounters Moya, a young girl fishing on a bridge. He aids her by offering a handkerchief for the fishing line. During their conversation, Murphy learns that Moya is attempting to catch a fish for her family's dinner. The situation takes a somber turn when she accidentally drops her lunchbox into the water, revealing bruises on her neck. In an attempt to conceal the truth, she hastily departs, leaving Murphy pondering the girl's untold story. To unravel the mystery, Murphy seeks out Moya's mother, Alara, employed as a bartender at a local bar. He commends her bartending skills and recounts the incident with Moya's lunchbox, taking responsibility for distracting her daughter. Alara, understanding and appreciative of his honesty, accepts his explanation. Later that evening, as he exits the bar, Murphy encounters Moya again, who appears on the verge of running away. He informs her that he's already clarified the lunchbox incident with her mother, but Moya remains silent, and he departs. Surprisingly, Moya chooses to trail him. Upon reaching his residence, Murphy senses that something is awry. Curtis, his uncle involved in the earlier bomb plot, is waiting outside, indicating a significant event is looming. The next morning, Murphy brings a basket of food to Moya and hands it to her mother, Alara. Concerned about the girl, he inquires, and she hands him a bullet but remains tight-lipped about her bruises. Curtis appears, prompting Moya to hastily retreat indoors. In a brusque manner, Curtis requests food from Alara and insinuates that Murphy is engaged in dubious activities before departing with the supplies. Murphy inquires about Curtis's identity, and Alara reveals they're connected through marriage, expressing a desire to be rid of him. Murphy brings the bullet from Moya to Robert, seeking assistance in dealing with Curtis due to the harm inflicted on the young girl. Although Robert learns of Curtis's threats, he declines to offer help. Undeterred, Murphy begins monitoring Curtis, signaling an imminent confrontation. On the way home, Curtis encounters Murphy, who extends a ride. During their conversation, Murphy discusses his previous interest in shooting and probes Curtis about his own fascination with guns. Claiming to possess a unique collection of rare ammunition, Murphy unveils a concealed gun in his car's trunk. Seizing the opportunity, Murphy drives Curtis to a forest with plans to eliminate him. However, the situation intensifies when Curtis attacks Murphy with a knife. Murphy fires his gun, but it malfunctions. Out of nowhere, Kevin appears and shoots Curtis in the head, disclosing that Robert instructed him to keep an eye on Murphy. The narrative becomes more intricate as the characters' loyalties and motives become increasingly convoluted. After burying the body, Murphy and Kevin head to a bar to unwind. During their conversation, Kevin expresses admiration for Murphy's proficiency in their lethal trade and admits to being a fan. He reveals his own involvement in killing for money but acknowledges Murphy's significantly higher victim count, deeming it nearly insane. Murphy becomes upset with Kevin's nonchalant attitude toward killing and firmly asserts the gravity of death. He cautions Kevin that making light of someone's demise again will result in a severe beating. 2 days pass without Curtis showing up at their usual meeting place. Concerned, Deeren decides to search for her missing brother. She visits Alara's residence to inquire about Curtis. Annoyed and clueless about his whereabouts, Alara receives an angry reprimand from the distressed Deeren. Growing more anxious, Deeren examines Curtis's gun and discovers a missing bullet. Seeking information, she contacts a business associate who suggests someone in town might assist her. Following the advice, she goes to Robert's house to discuss her brother's disappearance. When she mentions Curtis, Robert feigns ignorance, claiming his associates cannot offer help. As she is about to leave, Deeren spots a bullet on the ground that fits the vacant spot in her gun. Pointing the firearm at Robert, she demands the truth. He confesses that Murphy killed Curtis a few days earlier. Shocked by this revelation, she shoots and kills Robert. Josie, Robert's spouse, hears the commotion and rushes into the room. Deeren, holding the gun, informs her of her husband's demise and instructs her to return to her room. Now fueled by a desire for retribution, Deeren and her team are determined to uncover the perpetrator behind Curtis's death. Meanwhile, Murphy and Kevin, informed of Robert's demise by Josie, reassure her and pledge to handle the situation. Josie mentions an assertive woman inquiring about Curtis, leading the men to suspect someone seeking vengeance for his death. They eliminate all evidence of their past and future plans, advising Josie to contact the authorities as the threat of retaliation looms. While the antagonists diligently search the town for Murphy, Deeren becomes increasingly desperate to discover his whereabouts. She persuades Harry to pose as Murphy's nephew and visit a store, effectively extracting Murphy's genuine address from an unsuspecting shopkeeper. However, their covert operation encounters a setback when Sheriff Vincent questions Harry's presence in town, casting doubt on his tale of being Murphy's nephew. Undeterred, the group reaches Murphy's house, discovering war photographs that depict his challenging past. Simultaneously, Murphy senses something amiss as he approaches his residence, prompting him to instruct Kevin to halt the car. They observe the events at the house from a distance. During this period, Kevin shares his own story, leaving home, winning a bar fight that caught Robert's attention, and leading to his current occupation. Murphy reflects on his transformation from a war-hardened soldier to a killer after his wife's death and how Robert entered his life during that period. The following morning, Deeren, frustrated by Murphy's absence, vents her anger by vandalizing his car. Kevin observes the situation and aims his gun at Deeren, but Murphy prevents him from taking impulsive action. Meanwhile, Rita witnesses the altercation and receives a punch from Deeren in response to a rude comment. Deeren and her team depart, leaving Rita unconscious. In response, Murphy and Kevin swiftly assist Rita, bringing her inside her house and seeking medical assistance without disclosing their identities. At Kevin's residence, Murphy discovers a scorched newspaper detailing the Belfast bombing, sparking his interest in further investigation. He purchases the same newspaper and learns that Deeren, her brother, and their team are the primary suspects in the bombing. Murphy deduces the group's hiding place, where they have amassed a significant amount of explosives. Subsequently, Murphy attends a major football game, attended by the entire town, including Deeren and her team. Ron discovers their names and pictures are in the newspaper as suspects in the bombing, causing them to feel panicked. Despite discussions about leaving the country, Deeren remains resolute in seeking revenge. Amid the tumult of the football game, Murphy identifies Deeren and shadows her as she heads to the restroom. However, his luck runs out when Deeren sneaks up behind him with a gun. In a tense encounter, Murphy asserts he didn't kill her brother but agrees to disclose the actual perpetrator. She strikes a deal: bring the real killer to the bar that night or face severe consequences. She threatens to bomb the entire establishment. As night approaches, Murphy reveals to Kevin their plan to meet Deeren at the bar. He reluctantly admits he sees no alternative but to eliminate her. Kevin, excited by the prospect of being part of such an operation, arrives at the bar with weapons, but Murphy insists on using his own equipment. Surprisingly, Murphy hands Kevin a substantial sum of money and proposes that he begins a new life far removed from the violence. Kevin is moved and appreciative of Murphy's unexpected generosity. Inside the bar, Murphy engages in a conversation with Sheriff Vincent. When Vincent inquires about his occupation, Murphy provides a vague response, implying it's something the sheriff wouldn't want to know about. He then notices Deeren and approaches her, while Ron, carrying a suspicious-looking bag, heads to the bar. Outside, Vincent, taking a break for a smoke, observes Harry in a car with scratches on it. Back inside, Vincent notices Ron with the dubious bag. Simultaneously, Murphy suggests to Deeren that they converse outside, but she sharply warns him that she'll shoot if he attempts anything. Surprisingly, Kevin appears, pretending to be interested in Deeren. Rejected by her, he discloses her name, admitting to being the one responsible for her brother's death and shamelessly boasting about it. Enraged by this admission, she reacts impulsively and shoots him in the stomach. The bar descends into chaos, triggering a tense gunfight that prompts everyone to seek shelter. Outside, Sheriff Vincent discovers a bomb in Ron's bag, but Harry confronts him. Inside, Kevin successfully shoots Deeren. Amidst the turmoil, Murphy fires at Ron. Swift on his feet, Murphy intervenes before Harry can detonate the bomb, resulting in a violent demise for Harry. In his dying moments, Kevin suggests Murphy head to California with the money. However, Deeren, despite being shot, makes a final move for revenge, killing him. Determined to confront her, Murphy is obstructed by Ron, but in an act of vengeance, he eliminates Ron. After Deeren exits the bar, Murphy follows her, and they eventually reach a church. There, she acknowledges the weight of their transgressions and requests a simple gunshot death as a way to atone. Reluctantly, he agrees, acknowledging the shared responsibility they bear. However, before he can take action, she succumbs to excessive blood loss. Taking it upon himself, Murphy buries her in the woods, marking her grave with a tree as a solemn reminder. Subsequently, Murphy approaches Rita to express regret for not sharing his troubled history. Rita, understanding and compassionate, reassures him that he doesn't need to justify himself. Grateful, he thanks her and embarks on starting a new chapter in his life. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you want to watch more videos like this. Thank you for watching and see you again soon. Take care.